Hey, what's up, guys? Before we get into this episode, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do and a big announcement. But if you would like to skip ahead to the actual episode, I'll put a timestamp here.
3 minutes and 32 seconds.
First of all, Happy New Year's and very late Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for listening for a whole year or for joining us if you're starting to listen more recently. Alex and I look forward to many more years of World Canon, maybe. Fingers crossed. We'll see how things go. But either way, we're enjoying it a lot and want to start bringing more and better episodes to you guys. This next year, we're going to make a few changes. But first, we're going to take a short hiatus to help us get things ready so that when we come back, we can come back swinging and hopefully keep good momentum throughout the rest of the year. When we come back from our short break, we're going to change up our episode schedule a little bit. We'll still be doing 3 episodes a month, 1 episode per week, but instead of 2 written episodes and 2 loose form episodes per month, we're going to go to 1 written and 3 loose form episodes per month. This will help us keep from burning ourselves out, hopefully, while also being able to make better quality written episodes, basically just longer, better research, better written, and also giving us the opportunity to talk about more things on a broader spectrum, hopefully making things more entertaining and just all around fun and enjoyable for you guys to listen to. Hopefully, this new format that we'll be moving to will make things all around better for you guys, the audience, and for both Alex and I. Either way, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being with us for a year or joining us once again if you're just now joining us. We hope you stick with us next year. We enjoy doing this a lot, and we hope you guys enjoy it too. And really, our main goal is just, I know I keep saying enjoy here, but to make it more enjoyable to listen to. Lastly, before we get into the episode, just because I don't do it enough, I want to take a second to plug the podcast on other platforms here, including YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, all as World Canon Podcast, as well as our social media pages. Our Instagram is world.canon.pod. Our Twitter, or X, is world.canon.pod. TikTok is at world.canon, spelled like canon as in boom boom cannon. We also even have a Facebook for all you boomers, which is just World Canon. And, very exciting news, we have a brand new email, which is worldcanonofficial@outlook.com. That's worldcanonofficial@outlook.com, which you can email us at to say hi or share a story from history or personal history story, i.e. your great-grandparents maybe did something interesting, stuff like that, which you can email to us and we'll read on the show. Love to introduce a little bit more audience interaction. Alex and I both think it would be a lot of fun and just give you guys sort of a window to put your own voice in the show. I think it would be a lot of fun for everybody. All of these will be in the show notes below if you need help with spelling or just a reminder. But yeah, without further ado, that's everything. Thank you once again so much for listening. Hope you keep enjoying it. And here's today's episode. But first, I thought we could do a little something to set the mood just a little bit better than throat singing. Probably
Please not
horribly.
fake cigarettes.
No, even better. So you remember how for our Athens episode, we went back in time in a time machine?
I do.
We did, yeah.
Time machine.
Time machine that I can't believe it actually worked. I got it off of Facebook Marketplace.
It's a DeLorean, right?
Well, a little smaller. It can fit in this room. You see it right there. It's like that little box. You don't even get inside.
That's right. It just does it.
Yeah, it's like the size of a tissue box.
Yeah, it just does it.
Yeah, you just kind of
You
have
never
to
know it's a
you
time
kind of have to like touch it. Yeah, you never would know.
Yeah, but it's made by DeLorean.
I think so. I don't really know. It was really sketchy. It's got like some weird writing on it.
Well, it's got a flux capacitor right there.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah. So we need some plutonium. You got plutonium?
You know way more about this than I do.
You got plutonium.
I guess. I mean, it's
Probably
glowing.
came pre-installed with plutonium if you got it off Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, it's glowing. I'd imagine it works. I haven't really used it since then, but I'm assuming it works. And
Guess we got to find out.
yeah, I mean, the guy who sold it to me was really weird, speaking some language I didn't understand.
Smoking fake cigarettes.
Yeah, it sounded really old, like nobody even speaks that language anymore. But I don't know, he's pretty nice. Got a really good deal on Marketplace. It was
Always good deals on Marketplace.
yeah. We ended up having to skip our summer vacation we were going to go on because I bought that. Morgan was not too happy, but when she saw that it actually worked, she was pretty excited.
But you had a
about
time
it.
machine.
Yeah,
You come home to your wife with a time machine, she can't be too bad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty sick. So I figured we could use this to try to get in the mood for this episode.
Yeah, dude, let's go back.
We could go back. And the cool thing about time machines is they can also teleport you to anywhere you want to go. So it's not just
Right.
back in time. It's to any place on Earth that you want to be.
It's a time machine teleporter.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
It's. I have no idea how it works. I'm not even going to try to wrap my brain around it because it
Plutonium.
might give me a headache. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Wormholes.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can narrow it down to that.
Yeah.
So why don't we go back to say 1200s
Okay.
AD in Mongolia?
Is that safe?
We're going to find out. You got your gun?
Yeah,
Of course you do. I don't.
that's fine.
That's okay. At least you got one.
I got
I mean, we'll try not to use it because I don't know
I
like
got 35 rounds.
what would happen if we like messed with anything. But we can at least go back and check it out.
Yeah, don't
Wanna
step
do
on
that?
any butterflies.
All right, let me just punch in the coordinates. It's got a handy little keyboard on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can just kind of like.
Nice. Keyboard sold separately or did it come with it?
It came with it.
Okay.
I don't know what any
That
of the
was a good
numbers
deal.
mean, but whenever I get close to it and I think of where I want to go, it's like my fingers just know which keys to type, even though I
Okay.
have no idea what the symbols mean.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So let's see, 1200s, Mongolia. I'm just going to punch in some random coordinates. I'm assuming that's kind of like the middle of Mongolia, whatever. Anyway, so just put your hand here.
Okay.
And I'm going to push the big red button.
The big red button.
The big red, not the little red button, the big red button.
Oh,
I
the
don't know
big
what
red
the little red button does, but the big red button starts it.
Okay.
So, I mean, you ready? You don't need to go to the bathroom or anything, do you?
No.
Okay, I don't know if you remember from last time, but just try not to talk or anything during it. In fact, it's better if you just like hold your breath. 'Cause
Okay.
if you try to like even do anything, it's gonna really hurt when you come out on the other side.
Okay.
Like excruciating. So just
So just no words.
no words. Try not to even breathe.
Hold
honestly.
breath.
Yes.
How long is it going to take to hold breath?
Should only take a few seconds,
Okay.
but it might. Sometimes it does glitch, and you end up being in there for like a million years before you come out on the other
What
side.
happens if I breathe?
Just don't breathe.
If I breathe, do I explode?
I don't know. I don't
Only
think
one
so.
way to find out. I'll try not to breathe.
Okay,
I can't
you ready?
promise you.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, oh, dude.
Oh man, air, oxygen.
Yeah. How
feels
long were we
cleaner.
in there?
I don't know. It felt like maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah. 10 years, maybe. 10
I can
seconds.
breathe, though.
I don't know. It
It's
doesn't
nice.
matter. Yeah, the air is really
See,
clean.
it feels so clean.
It feels much, I don't know, smoother.
Yeah.
It's crisp.
Like no pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Like clean air.
It smells kind of nice.
It does smell like dead bodies, though.
Yeah. I'll admit, there is something, a little hint of something in the air. Kind of get a hint of it every time the wind blows.
It
a
smells
little
like
bit.
ass.
It's bad. But when the wind's not blowing too bad, it smells pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the sky's so blue.
It's blue.
It is. It's very blue. This is actually kind of beautiful. It's very wide and open. Kind of
What would
looks
happen
like,
if we stayed here?
I don't really want to find out.
Yeah, it smells bad.
So, yeah. But it is very pretty. It looks like Wyoming almost.
It kind of does look like Wyoming.
Yeah,
From the pictures I've
interesting.
seen.
There's no one around.
Have I been to Wyoming? It looks like Wyoming.
I don't think we're in Wyoming.
We're probably not in Wyoming.
We're not in Wyoming anymore.
There's no way. Was there even a Wyoming in 1200s?
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, Wyoming doesn't really exist.
So we're in Mongolia.
Yeah, we are.
I think. I think you punch it into the DeLorean, so.
Dude. Is that a guy on a horse over there on that hill?
Oh my gosh.
I think that's a guy on a horse.
That's a guy on a horse.
Is he?
He's got really long hair.
Hold on, I don't think he sees us.
No, he doesn't see us.
Oh, no,
He
he's
might have
coming
seen
this
us.
way.
He might have seen us.
He's coming this way. Does he have a spear?
Is that a weapon?
Yeah, dude, that's
Dude,
definitely
he's moving
a spear.
fast.
Oh, crap.
Is there anyone? Dude, we're the only ones out here.
We are.
He's
We
coming
look-
right for us.
We probably look really weird to him.
What do we do?
You got your gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that right. I mean, try not
Alright.
to shoot him, but worst comes to worst.
Dude, we might
Introduce him to 21st century
create a
technology.
multiverse if we do anything bad.
I know, right?
This is just like Back to the
Okay,
Future.
hold on. I got this, dude. Don't worry. Be ready, but I'll take it from here.
You speak Mongol?
No.
Okay.
But
we're good, right?
I've been told I have a friendly face.
I think you do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Looks like a nice guy.
Oh, shoot. Here he comes. Yep, he definitely sees us now. All right, just smile, look nice. I got this, Alex. All right, don't worry.
Smile and wave, smile and wave, smile and wave.
Hello, sir. It's a nice horse. This very shiny spear. First of all, we're friendly. We don't mean you any harm. We just kind of ended up here. I don't really know exactly where this is, but I'm assuming it's Mongolia, right? Mongolia?
Chicken bear.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying.
Do you know Mr. Khan?
Yeah, Khan. The big Khan.
You know Mr. Khan?
Genghis Khan. Great Khan.
I don't think he can understand us.
No, looks kind of angry.
Is he pissed?
He's
Sir,
looking
please don't kill
really
us. We're
angry.
friendly.
He's starting to brandish that spear.
Chikanich Zalakich Bano.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that looks really sharp.
All right.
That is very close to my
Let's dial her
nose.
back a few notches.
Alex, can you start turning the machine back on, please? Thank you. I'm gonna so
Please don't kill us. Please don't kill us.
like I said, we're friendly.
So mad.
We're here to we're just trying to explore. We're making a podcast. You have no idea what that is. You don't really understand me, but man,
Chris,
if you live centuries later, you would love it.
hurry up.
Are we good? No. Please don't kill us.
We're good. We're good. Get it.
We're
get
good?
It,
Okay,
get it,
shoot.
get
Grab it. Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. Dude, he was going to kill us.
Yeah, he was definitely going to kill us. I don't ever want to do that again. Oh. Who am I kidding? I totally want to do that again sometime, but not for a while.
Oh, I want to kill someone, too, if it smelled that bad.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
That was awful.
Yeah. What do you think that was?
I don't know. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for
What your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I have a dream.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Who's bringing?
So do you know what throat singing is?
Oh.
Yeah, they go.
Yes.
Yeah, and when you hear somebody who's like really good at it, they can hit two tones at once, like two notes at once, and it's crazy. It's like I don't even really know how to explain it, but it sounds incredible. Like it sounds fake, honestly.
Okay.
But they go, yeah. It's just the entire time I was researching this, I swear all I could hear in my head was just.
Dude, I swear that's in a lot of movies.
Yeah, any movie where it's remotely in Asia and there are horses and flatlands,
Yeah.
it'll play that. It's like Vietnam movies. You cannot have a Vietnam movie without Fortunate Son. You can't have a movie that has anything to do with Mongolians or Mongolian culture or Tibetans too, without hearing at some point.
Never heard people do it with the two notes. I want to hear.
No? Okay, hold on. Dude, we gotta look this up actually. Let's see. Mongolian throat singing YouTube. Here we go. Let's see. You can grab your headphones there. You can listen to this. Where's a good one? Let me find a good one. Here we go. This guy's good.
Wee.
Hold on, give him a second. Come on. There you go.
Views.
I know, right? Wait, hold on. Let's get to this part. Isn't that sick? Okay, that one he's like actually singing lyrics. Let me find one where they're just like chanting. Here we go. 2 hours of Mongolian throat singing. This is perfect. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Oh, I don't know what that is. There we go. Okay, enough of that. We're gonna just immediately get copyright striked.
Dude, it's so low and bassy.
It is. I'll have to see if I can find one of the ones where a guy hits like 2 tones at once, because that is crazy. But yeah, no, that's like just while reading through articles for this, I could just hear.
Now I can. Dude,
I would just practice that in my truck on the way to work. It's so much fun. I remember one time me and a buddy at work, we were just like, he's one of those guys where like you can kind of act weird with, and you can kind of like let your I don't know, guilty pleasures out.
You'd be a little gay around him.
Yeah, a little bit. And he was like, dude, you want to just listen to Mongolian throat singing on our way to this job? And I was like, abso-freaking-lutely.
It's the same guy you do Trump impressions with.
Yep, that same guy. Yeah.
Connect the dots, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's cool. Good stuff. There's a band called The Hue that's like Mongolian metal, and they do like throat singing, and they do the violin instrument. I don't know what it is. It's not a violin, but it's like a violin, but it sounds deeper. It's really cool. It's only got like 2 strings. I can't remember what they're called.
I can't believe I've never connected the dots with this, but also can't say it's the first thing I thought about when I thought about Mongols. I just think about like mass genocide.
That too. That also comes to mind. Yeah, no, anyway, if you couldn't guess by now, we're doing Mongols, more specifically, we're talking about the early years of the Mongolian Empire and the man who brought it all to be. Perhaps, maybe, we'll see. But either way, we're talking about Mongols. Welcome to another episode of the World Canon Podcast. I'm Chris. Alex, how you doing?
I'm Alex.
He's Alex. No. We are so excited to do this episode. I know Alex is.
I've been longing. I've been yearning.
Yes.
To talk about the Mongol Empire and Genghis Khan.
He really has been. He really has been. And you know what? I even pushed back another episode to do this one because I figured this one would be way more fun and way more interesting, because I've noticed a pattern as we've progressed in doing this podcast is that we kind of lean towards the dark stories of history because they're funnier. Anything that involves genocide or I don't know, other bad things like cannibalism, we really kind of lean towards those stories because they're just funner to talk about for some reason. But yeah,
I saw a Joe Rogan clip like 2 years ago,
yeah,
of him talking about the Mongol Empire and Genghis Khan. Ever since then, I've thought about it at least twice a week.
Really? So the Mongolian Empire to you is like the Roman Empire.
It's
to me.
so fascinating. And you look like on a map at how much territory they controlled, and like what their soldiers, what Genghis and his soldiers did, how they were trained, like the message they sent to civilians and to other armies, and how they, I guess we'll say, disposed of their fallen enemies. Just imagine that noise and like 10,000 Mongol troops.
10,000 guys horses. Doing that on a hill on horseback. It's like that scene from, you ever watch Return of the King, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
That scene where all the Rohirrim like cavalrymen come up on the hill. I just imagine that, but it's Mongols. Yeah, and they're all going. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of going to be the theme of this episode.
That's so funny.
Okay, so should we actually get into this?
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, real quickly, how much do you actually know about the Mongolian Empire? At least, like, the start of the empire.
Not much.
Not much?
No, I mean, I know, like, how it affected a lot. I know about Genghis Khan. I know a lot about his, I guess, tactics and what he did to people. Some of his history, some of his childhood. The whole empire itself and, like, its reign and all those details, and maybe its emperors, I don't know a ton about.
Okay.
But somewhat versed on Khan.
Well, this will be a little bit more of an in-depth episode to sort of the early years of the Mongolian Empire. And if people like it, we can do another episode on this. I think that would be fun, kind of chronicling the rest of the empire's time, because I don't know if many people know this, but the Mongolian Empire lasted a long time. I think there's kind of this misconception that, like, right after Genghis Khan died, his empire kind of fell apart, kind of like
going,
Alexander's. Right? But yeah, no, it went for a long, long time. And to the point where, like, I think the last vestiges of the Mongolian Empire didn't disappear until around 1930. Which is...
That's crazy.
Hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
It lasted a very long time, and it got a lot bigger too after Genghis Khan's death. And then it started fluctuating a little bit over the centuries after that. But yeah, it was it lasted a very long time. It was very big. But this is just sort of the first little bit of it. And if people like it, let us know, and we could do another episode. I would love to. It'd be a lot of fun. But I think without further ado, we will get into the meat of this episode.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Temujin was born sometime between 1155 and 1167 AD to a chieftain family of the, here we go, Borjigin clan.
I imagine there's going to be quite a few of those.
There's going to be a lot of words like that I'm going to struggle to pronounce. Now, Alex, real quick before I read the next sentence.
Peru.
No, stop it. You're mean. Do you recognize the name Temujin?
That's Khan.
Oh, shoot, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was going to be a big reveal.
No, I know that's his real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Temujin.
Yeah, you asked.
I guess I should have clarified. Without spoiling who it is, do you know who Temujin is? Well, yeah, that's who it is. Yeah. I think most people could probably gather. Anyway, no idea really where exactly he was born, though possibly somewhere on the banks of the Onon River. When he was about 8 years old, Temujin was left with the tribe of his betrothed wife, Bort, when his family was supposedly killed by Tartars. Or Tatars, I mean. I misspelled that.
Tartarts.
By the way...
His family was killed by Pop-Tarts.
The cinnamon kind.
The cinnamon kind.
The good ones. By the way, the name Bort for a girl is quite unfortunate.
I feel like that's what you'd name an elite in Halo. It's like almost the noise. Bort.
I'm still looking forward to the day we do a Halo episode.
We got to.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, Temujin's father was the only thing holding his clan together because when he died, they split and Temujin's family were left to fend for themselves. They were reduced to living a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. If things weren't hard enough, Temujin's half-brother, Betar, someone is going to probably correct me over this, was supposedly hoarding food and constantly causing disruption amongst the family. And it ended up getting so bad that Temujin and his younger brother Khazar ambushed and killed Betar.
Blew out his hands early.
Then it begins. Betar's younger brother, Belgute, was surprisingly pretty cool with this, so much so that he became good friends with Temujin and would end up helping him a lot later in life. There's one skill Temujin developed pretty quickly in order to survive. Many would come to find they were enamored with the guy. He seemed to have a way with people and was extremely charismatic. So much so that as a young kid, he was able to make a blood pact with another boy named Jamuka. Jamuka is going to be a big player here in this story.
Jamuka.
At the age of 15, he returned to the tribe of his betrothed Bort. They were married, and Temujin was given a fine coat made of sable fur, which is probably the cutest animal in Asia and is like making a coat out of puppies.
Lots of evil stuff going on in the early days.
Look at a picture of a sable, but they're genuinely the most adorable little things ever.
A sable?
A sable, yeah, but I'm sure their fur is...
Oh, there's Elon. There's 2 Elons.
We got my laptop pulled up right now so we can look at pictures and stuff, which is great not having camera.
I do like this setup. That's pretty sweet having it right
nice
there.
When we get back to camera someday.
Yeah.
Sables. Here, let's look at the picture real quick. Oh, those are just
Those
cookies.
are cookies?
Oh, here we go. Here's a sable.
Oh, I've seen these. I didn't know they're called sables.
Yeah, look at him, dude. It looks like a little puppy.
It does. It looks like a puppy fox.
Yeah, puppy fox. Or like a ferret slash
It's like
puppy.
a cat and a ferret and a dog and a child.
Yeah.
And a fox.
And
yeah.
a little baby, a little child.
It's a sable.
Make coats out of it.
And they've murdered it.
Yeah.
And made a coat out of it.
Mm-hmm. I think they climb trees and stuff.
Huh.
I don't know what a lot of these pictures
Right,
are.
they're cookies.
Sable cookies? I don't know.
Dude.
Yeah, anyway, a whole coat made out of those.
I think I saw a picture of Hulk Hogan in there somewhere.
Being the charismatic type, Temujin saved the coat, and rather than keeping it for himself, he decided to use it. Here's where
Decided to use it.
a good leader knows what to do with a fine gift. He and Bort went to a man named Togrul, who was Khan of the Kurit tribe and had been an ally of Temujin's dad. Temujin gave Togrul the coat as a gift and asked for Togrul to have his back if anything ever happened. Togrul was only too happy to see the son of his lost friend and was beyond thankful for such a nice gift. Apparently this puppy coat was super, super nice.
Probably like rare, expensive.
Yeah. It's like if you gave me a brand new Xbox, I would do anything for you.
That's not rare.
But it's nice.
You can buy it at Target.
But I don't want to buy it.
So what are you saying?
I gotta drink some Bang. I had to get up at like 3:30 this morning.
Why?
Drive someone to the airport.
Oh, it's so painful, dude.
And I mean, I got to come home and go and sleep a little longer, but
Who's flying out? Where are they going if they're flying so early?
yeah, flying home to see family for Christmas. So
Okay.
you know, I figured I'd help out, but
Yeah.
I gotta have something to get my brain juices flowing.
Insert Bang.
Insert Bang. I drink Bang because my coke dealer's in jail for life. Really good. Can't even remember the guy's name now.
Ross?
No,
Oh.
never mind.
All right.
Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Soon after this, Temujin's camp was raided by 300 men of an imposing tribe. His wife Bort was kidnapped and Temujin fled to the hills. Now would come Temujin's first time calling his new friend Togrul to help. On top of that, he also called up his old buddy Jamuka, who he'd made a blood pact with as a kid, and who is now a chief of his own tribe. Both chieftains were happy to oblige and gathered up a massive army. Temujin rode with the two chieftains into battle, but he did not take the lead at all. Jamuka was actually the one who took the lead, and under his guidance, the battle was pretty quickly won. Temujin got Bort back, and they had a son named Joshi, who then for the next year, Temujin and Jamuka's group stayed together and camped together. The two leaders were such good friends that they at times slept under the same blanket. No homo.
Gay.
Until they had a falling out for some reason, and the two groups split. Temujin then really started gathering a following.
Dude, his wife's name is Bort. That's a guy's name.
You can't get over that. Also, his son Jochi here, basically for the rest of his life, people would be kind of like, the argument was whether or not Jochi was actually Genghis Khan's son, because Bort had Jochi shortly after they got her back from the tribe. So there's something maybe went on when she was captured that was not so great.
She's probably SA'd.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And
especially during these times.
Yeah. But, props to him, Temujin did raise Jochi as his own son.
Okay.
And he later gave him a lot of authority. Later on went building the Mongolian Empire. And we'll see that. in a little bit. Besides just being charismatic, Temujin also had a system in place that adhered to him. The common. Man, I don't know what I was typing. I did write this. Instead of the common system of promoting only those considered to be of noble birth to high positions within a tribe, Temujin looked more at people's skills and talents. If a man was good with numbers or fighting, it didn't matter if he was a chieftain's son or an orphan. He could find himself in Temujin's good graces and given a life with status and responsibility. Obviously, there were some who didn't appreciate this, mostly the noble, but many still did, especially the average Joe, who far outnumbered the aristocratic. It was these followers, many of which led small groups of their own, along with the help of some shaman that proclaimed Temujin to be ordained by the gods, that began hyping Temujin up to be the new ruler of Mongolia. Temujin's friend Togrul was pretty happy about this and proud of Temujin. However, Jamuka was the total opposite. To him, Temujin was not all he was cracked up to be, and thought the guy was getting a big head. He also really didn't like Temujin's form of meritocracy he was pushing and thought it threatened his way of life. The two would argue over Temujin's newfound power until they got even more bitter towards each other than before, until their arguments exploded into war.
Politics, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited for this next year. Temujin had some experience by now leading in combat. He had inflicted a successful campaign against the Merkits, which was another tribe that had caused him a lot of trouble in his early past. However, despite his later accomplishments, he was still no match for Jamuka's abilities. The two armies of around 30,000 each clashed in 1187 at a place called Dalan Baujut near the Onan River. Not too much is known for sure about the exact events of the battle, but Temujin was pretty badly beaten and nearly escaped with his life. Jamuka, though victorious, was not a gracious winner, and keeping in par with how medieval warfare usually went, he took 70 young men from Temujin's army and boiled them alive while making everyone watch, which made even some of his own followers feel a little less loyal. Medieval warfare is so
boiled
brutal,
them alive? There's so many ways to... What?
Human soup.
You think they ate them?
I doubt they... I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
Why are they
maybe
boiling them, dude?
Because they were...
Gotta be boiled.
I don't know, yeah. You gotta make a point, dude. No other way to do that than take 70 guys and boil them alive.
Make a statement, I guess.
That makes a very bold statement.
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't end well for this guy.
What makes you think that?
Because we know who Khan was in the end.
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, no, that really is awfully brutal. That is really terrible. Medieval warfare, especially medieval warfare in Asia, for whatever reason, was always so bad for the losers. The winner seemed to really always enjoy just doing horrible things,
boiling
to the loser.
70 men alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems kind of wasteful of a lot.
Like, put them in chains, put them in a cell. No. Like, no, let's boil them alive. How about that? That's a good idea.
Let's cook them like you do lobsters.
Yeah.
And listen to them scream while you just...
stove on? How would you even boil them? What would you use?
A really big pot. A really, really big pot.
Just like an office building sized pot over the biggest fire you've ever seen.
Hey, we're going to cook these guys up good. You got to put them in a crock pot. Now, you should see how we do this down home. We take crawfish, we throw them in there with season, but this time I'm going to take
this ain't crawfish.
A 20-year-old man. We're going to throw them in there, throw some potatoes.
A little salt and pepper.
A little garlic. Some of this Cajun seasoning, and
you bring the onions.
Corn.
I want this to taste good.
You got to have onions. That adds good flavor. Which the funniest part about this is a lot of the times for their fires, because you're out in the middle of nowhere where forests are usually kind of sparse, to build a fire, what they would do is... Now, they're nomadic tribes, right? They move around. So they have a lot of livestock. A lot of that livestock is horses, cattle, and sometimes camels. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen horse poop or camel poop or cow poop, but it's all very similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's very large.
It's like a pie.
It's like a pie, like a disc. And what it does is it dries.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's made of is primarily grass.
Mm-hmm.
So if you save those turds and you let them dry, what it essentially turns into is charcoal. So these people, more often than not, if they're not near a forest or they don't have like abundant supply of lumber at hand, what they do have is a very abundant supply of literal horse feces. So their fires were most often built out of camel poop, horse poop.
That's why it smelled so bad.
Or cow. Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Makes sense.
That would make sense. That really was not a good smell.
That was bad.
So, on top of being boiled alive, you're being boiled alive over a poop fire. Just to add salt to the wound.
The last thing you see is them just bringing horse poo.
You're in chains. You're tied up with all of your friends, and you're watching them build a big fire out of turds. And then they bring out a big pot.
Bad way to go.
Yeah. That cannot be a good feeling. Did I just spill a little bit of hot water on me when I'm making mac and cheese or something? And that's bad enough. I can imagine my whole body being in there. It's rough.
Dude, there's just so many. There's not a right way to do that. The right way is like, hey, I don't know, maybe let them
not
go.
Kill them.
Put them in prison or something like that. Show them mercy.
Assimilate them into your army.
Okay.
I don't know.
Boil them alive. I want to know what the conversation was like amongst the leaders.
Whose idea was this?
Like Mr. Jamuka.
How did he think of this?
And his like generals, like.
Has he done this before?
What we should do?
Do you go from never boiling anyone alive to boiling 70 people alive at once?
They've done it before, dude. There's no way.
Yeah, probably.
There's no way.
You have to build up to 70 people at one time.
You got to have a method. It's not like you could just grab a sword. Like, you have to have a whole process in place. That costs a lot of money.
I'm sure it does. By the way, the whole time I imagine some guy on like a step stool, like a ladder with a giant spoon, stirring the guys in the pot.
Just an industrial
Anytime they
size.
try to climb out, he like whacks them on the head with a big spoon. No, get back in there.
You're like,
You ever seen a video, like one of those videos of people trying to cook crab for the first time? And the crab is still alive and it tries to climb out of the pot and they start freaking out and hitting it with like tongs. Yeah. That's what I imagine, like a Mongolian guy whacking another Mongolian guy back into the pot. Yeah. No, get back in there. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on from the boiling people?
I think we should. Just, okay. Dude. Yeah, no.
Very on. Brutal. Very, very brutal. Anyway, for the next 10 years, not much is known about Temujin. Because remember, he ran away.
Right.
Barely escaped.
Barely.
But when he reappears in 1197, he's sporting the title Cha-ut Kuri, meaning commander of hundreds, and is a leader in the Jin Dynasty Chinese army. Apparently, he had fled to China and offered his services, where he served well in helping them deal with the Tatars and had been rewarded handsomely. With his return, many came from Jamuka who was not so great and gave their allegiance to Temujin. Togrul was also happy to have Temujin back, and the two joined forces to fight the Merkits, Naimans, and Tatars. These three tribes ended up having enough, though, and called on Jamuka to help with their problem. They got crushed, though. Finally, Temujin was allowed to enjoy his rule in some peace. However, when Jamuka was taken captive, he was brought to Togrul, not Temujin. Jamuka was able to convince Togrul to spare him and allow him to keep some status while acting as a consultant to Togrul.
Bad idea.
Yeah, basically.
Showed him mercy?
A little. You should have boiled him alive.
Should have boiled him.
Basically, Togrul now just has like a little evil henchman, like Worm Tongue, whispering in his ear. Like that really pale, skeezy dude from Lord of the Rings. Like whispers in the Rohirrim King's ear.
Oddly similar to the plot of Game of Thrones. It's like basically Civil War all on the same turf, different tribes or houses or kingdoms, all going at it. Everyone dies. People die in horror. People get boiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get boiled alive over poop fires. Don't forget that part.
Can't forget the poop fires, man.
That's honestly probably the worst part.
I think that's the worst part.
I think that's even worse than just being boiled alive over a regular fire.
It's so much worse, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's like insult to really bad injury.
It's like the last thing you see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
we'll try to steer away from the poop fire boiling alive things.
Yeah.
These 3 tribes ended up having... Oh, wait. I already read that part. And Togrul spared him. Now has an evil henchman whispering in his ear. Yep. Togrul agreed, and now there are only 3 major powers left in all of Mongolia. The Naimans in the far west, the Kurit in the middle, which is Togrul's tribe, and what was now known as the Mongols in the east, led by Temujin. This didn't last long, though, because in around 1203-ish, Togrul tried to ambush Temujin. His plan was found out, though, and Temujin gathered an army and went to meet his mentor in battle. So yeah, having the evil henchman was not a good idea.
Bad.
As you could guess.
Bad.
Jamuka convinced Togrul that Temujin was now threatening their way of life with his meritocracy.
Like, the guy that boiled 70 people alive under a poop fire?
But that's just expected.
Let's use
that's
him.
That's a strong leader
to tell us what to do.
That's a strong leader. That's what that is. And so I don't know. Togrul was convinced somehow, and he decided to try to wipe out Temujin. Apparently, hiring the enemy to be a consultant was the wrong call. Togrul, out of power. Wait, well, what the heck am I going? What is going on here? I really should read through my outlines before we make an episode. Anyway, here we are. The armies meet at Mount Mao, I think is how you pronounce that, where Temujin was once again swiftly beaten and fled.
What?
Yep.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, you kind of know him for always winning, but, he had to learn a few lessons before he got to that point. This time, though, he did not flee to China, but to an unknown location where his forces regrouped. In order to keep what was left of his army together, Temujin made an oath to anyone willing to continue following him in what's known as the Baljuna Covenant. Essentially, he told all of his followers, from commanders to foot soldiers, if they would share in the bitter moments with him, he would share all the rewards from their inevitable victory. By now, his group consisted of men and families from over 9 different tribes, ranging from multiple religions like Muslims, Buddhists, and Christians, and even different ethnicities, all of them loyal to one thing, that being Temujin. They would prove to be more loyal than any other nation around. After they nursed their wounds and resupplied, Temujin's army was able to get the drop on Togrul and ambush them in the, here we go again, Jejer Heights. Jejer, I think that's how you pronounce it. In a battle that lasted 3 days, Temujin finally won against the enemy, but Togrul escaped. For Togrul, sadly though, he would not get the chance at a victorious return like Temujin because he was killed by some Naiman who were his allies because they didn't recognize him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't even recognize their own leader.
I know, right? Well, like their ally. Remember, the Naimans are another tribe way in the west.
Yeah.
And the Kurits, Togrul's tribe, were allied with him. So they would know Togrul, but he had just ran away with his life from a battle.
Yeah.
So he probably didn't really look like a leader
probably
anymore.
Be pretty beaten up.
Yeah.
Pretty bad shape.
And they just killed him.
Yeah.
That, or they did recognize him and they just wanted his stuff.
Probably.
So
yeah.
They're just like, oh, we didn't know who he was.
That's a nice watch. Come here.
Yeah, we'll help you. Come here. Just crawl into this pot. Come take a bath in this pot. Yeah. Also, Temujin adopted Togrul's old keshig, which was essentially a large bodyguard force of nearly 1,200 soldiers. He then upgraded this keshig to 10,000 soldiers in what was his very own private bodyguard / military force. Whenever one man died, he replaced them, so their numbers always remained around 10,000.
That's ridiculous, dude.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but he would also make many of them from sons and relatives of other tribal leaders. So if those leaders did something Temujin didn't like, he could have them killed. So his bodyguards were also political hostages.
That's no way to live, man. That sounds so crappy.
It worked. Now, Temujin controlled 2/3 of Mongolia and set his sights on the Naiman in the west. He defeated them and their leader, Taiyong Khan, in a pretty quick conquest in the Altai Mountains. Then, Temujin swept up the last little bit of his opposition, like what was left of the Merkits at this point, when suddenly he was given Jamuka by some of Jamuka's traveling companions. The companions were executed for betraying Jamuka, then Temujin had Jamuka himself executed via dismemberment.
I think that's just.
Yeah. Kill the guys who betrayed him, because they're scumbags, and they killed Jamuka, because he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dismemberment. Nice.
Cool. Lots of murder going
Bad
on.
way to go.
Finally, by 1206, Temujin had total rule of all of Mongolia. He called all the leaders of the tribes to a meeting at the source of the Onon River, the same river he was born next to, where he was formerly acknowledged as their ruler. He was then given the title of Universal Ruler, or Genghis Khan.
I feel like that's how they swore him in.
Yeah. Hey, Genghis Khan.
There's tens of thousands of people around him, all in unison.
It's like Dune. You ever seen Dune? That episode where the Emperor's knights are getting ready to go to battle, and there's that guy up on the podium going,
Hamburger cheeseburger.
It's
Hamburger cheeseburger, Big Mac Whopper. Yeah.
First step of Genghis Khan's agenda was reforming the whole of Mongolia. I want to see what time we're at. Oh, wow, we're already at 43 minutes. This is going to be a long episode.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we might be able to squeeze a two-part out of this, but we'll see. Anyway, reforming the whole of Mongolia, namely the way it ran. Up to this point, the people of Mongolia had all mostly lived as nomadic tribes, and the culture was targeted towards the power of small individual tribes. What Genghis wanted to do instead was have it so that instead of everyone being loyal to their tribe, they were instead loyal to Mongolia as a whole and the ruling family. Since almost all the major leaders had been killed or exiled in the past couple decades, Genghis Khan was able to accomplish this pretty easily. The way his new government worked was with his family, known as the Golden Family, at the top of the hierarchy. Then there was the Karaku, which was all the surviving aristocracy of the recent warfare. This still didn't help with the biggest threat, though. Genghis Khan knew that people still held to their tribal identity very strongly, and if any one tribe wanted to rebel, it would be easy to gain followers. So in order to suppress this form of identity, Genghis thought of a way to break up the tribes, especially the fighting-age males. He developed, essentially, a military-industrial complex.
Smart man.
MIC mentioned. We love military-industrial complexes here. This guy knew what he was about. Essentially, instead of tribes, men and their families were divided into what were called minkans, which meant 1,000 soldiers. These minkan were made of people from various different tribes. That would mean each family had to be loyal to their minkan, and each minkan was supported by another minkan, and all minkans were led by those loyal to the Golden Family.
Dictatorship.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And for any Warhammer 40k fans out there, this might sound familiar, because the way the Imperium is set up, to use an extremely nerdy reference to explain this, the way the Imperium's military is set up, with all the legions and the legions having their chapters, that's all based off of sort of how the Roman Empire did it, and also how the Mongolian Empire did it.
Interesting.
To ensure that if anyone did try to rebel against the head leadership, i.e. the Emperor, i.e. Genghis Khan, then they would have to also face a lot of other legions, or minkans in this instance, who were loyal to the head leadership. I've kind of been getting into 40k recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, my fiance's brother's obsessed with it.
Oh, it's actually so good. The issue is, I'm almost done with Halo. I only have a few more books before I'm all caught up. So I'm like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? Because who knows when another game's gonna come out, and I need something because I'm an addict, and I'm a fiend, dude. And that new Space Marines game came out, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks kind of interesting. So I started like watching some stuff on YouTube and listening to some stuff on Spotify. And I'm addicted. It's so good. It's so much addiction. So much. It's because it's much older than Halo. It's been around since like the late 80s, I think.
Interesting.
It's very old. And
what's it called?
Warhammer.
Oh,
you know, Space Marines.
The other thing. Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah, that.
I was confused.
That sort of thing.
Wait, maybe I'm thinking of a different Warhammer.
A lot of books and a lot of lore and a lot of stuff for a really nerdy guy like me.
Do they make a lot of toys?
Oh yeah, dude, it's huge. They make
Okay, that is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's sort of like a kind of like a I don't know, like a D&D game sort of.
Yes,
it's a tabletop game.
Okay,
but there's a lot of books that I've heard are pretty good, and that I might start reading once I'm done with Halo.
Okay, interesting.
And the video games are also really big. People like those a lot.
Might have to check them out.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a 40K podcast.
I'd be down. It sounds really interesting.
Honestly, I do. Just say this real quick and then we'll get back into the story because we're already at like 40 minutes. But I love the idea of doing a fictional lore podcast too. That we divide into seasons, and like every season we cover a different like sci-fi or fantasy. Like one season could be Halo, obviously.
Has to be Halo.
And then we could do like 40K, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings for all the really, really nerdy people. Because, you know, as much as I love history, fictional history is usually a lot funner. It's a lot funner to talk about. It's a lot funner to read about. But yeah, that's just a thought. We'll get back into Genghis Khan and Mongols. After 1206, once Genghis had fully established his new kingdom, he set his sights on his surrounding neighbors and started working on building an empire. First, he sent his son Jochi north to deal with some wild tribes where they also got a lot of grain, fur, and gold.
Conquest.
Mm-hmm. This is the good part. Then, way out west was an alliance of what was left of the Naimans and Markets, who were then promptly killed. Finally, Genghis Khan started moving towards China. China. Man, I wish he finished him off. Never mind. What?
You guys can't see it.
Doing yeah, I mean, you could probably hear it, honestly. You probably knew exactly what he was doing.
China.
Doing the little hand motions.
You know.
China.
We can't.
We got to get this. We got to get through this. Oh. They tried to raid, but they ended up running into something they never had to face before in all the wars between nomadic tribes. Cities with walls. Despite the numbers they could bring, and of course the very famous Mongolian cavalry, they couldn't do much about the walls. What they did have, though, were captured Chinese engineers who taught them how to build siege engines. In 1209, Genghis Khan led an invasion into the Jia kingdom. Emperor Xianzong of Jia realized he was in trouble and asked the Jins for help. They basically replied saying, "Why should we, when you're our enemy? We think it's nice the Mongols are attacking you." Quote unquote. Genghis Khan made quick work of the Jia kingdom as he marched south along the Yellow River, sacking one city after another on their way to the Jia capital of Yinchuan, until they came to the Qimen fortress. Now, real quick little footnote. For those who don't know about China during this time, China took a long time to become the China it is today.
Yeah.
It was very, and this is kind of in par for a lot of countries, especially in Asia during the medieval times. It's a lot of smaller kingdoms that would make up a territory until finally, like years, centuries later, they became the countries we know today. So China at this time was split up into a lot of different dynasties. Well, actually not a lot. There are a handful. And the Jia and the Jin were two of the big ones at the time. They were on the north side of China near Mongolia. So just to avoid any confusion, this is China, But at the time, China was divided into a bunch of different kingdoms.
China we know today.
Mm-hmm.
China.
It was Little China.
When he says it, I imagine CHYNA.
CHY. Yeah, that makes sense.
China.
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 China. Okay, nope. Moving on. Not that kind of podcast. Until they came to the Kiemen Fortress, garrisoned by nearly 120,000 troops. It was a tough nut to crack. But they had to crack it because between them and Yinchuan was the Helen mountain range, and the fort blocked the only path through the mountains. The Mongols sieged the fort for 2 months before retreating. Excited that they finally won, the garrison from the fort decided to chase the Mongols to punish them, where they were caught out in the open and slaughtered.
Brother.
Little switcheroo.
Yeah.
After that, it was a simple march to Yinchuan, except it wouldn't be quite that easy. Despite their new siege technology, the city was built even stronger than the Kiemen Fortress was. The Mongol army sieged the city for 7 months, making almost no progress. Then Genghis had a stroke of genius. He built a network of canals and a dam to divert the Yellow River to flood the capital city. It almost worked until a few months later the dam broke and flooded the Mongolian camp. Despite that, the Mongols didn't leave and instead just moved their camp to higher ground. Ultimately, Yinchuan and Emperor Xianzong capitulated and swore loyalty to Genghis Khan, paying him a lot of tribute. The next year, the Jia attacked the Jin as payback for not helping them with the Mongol invasions, and the Mongols helped them take out the Jin in a war that lasted 23 years.
Justice.
It's so funny that, like, right after that, literally
It's like the first thing
a
they
year
decided to
later,
do, yeah.
they just want to, like, take out their anger on their neighbors, and the
All right,
Mongols,
first
the
order of
guys that
business.
conquered them, were like, yeah, let's go, let's get out,
Do it,
we'll help
bro.
you out.
That's funny.
As the two dynasties fought, Genghis Khan decided to invade the Khwarezm dynasty way out west in the Middle East.
He's got some range, dude.
I know,
He's going
right?
across all of that.
Across the
continent.
entire Asian continent. He requested troops from the Jia who refused twice, even after having their capital sieged a second time. They told Genghis Khan if he could find the force needed, or if he couldn't find the force needed on his own, then he didn't deserve to be ruler. So Genghis Khan invaded the Khwarezm on his own. While he's like, yeah, just sure, whatever.
All right, I'll do it myself.
Cool, fine. Bet. Literally, he was like, all right, bet.
Bet.
While the Jia worked on forming an alliance with the Jin in another kingdom called the Song to fight the Mongols. In 1219, Genghis Khan's army stepped foot into the also relatively new Khwarezm Empire and began laying siege to the city of Otrar, which is in present-day Kazakhstan. To the surprise of the Mongols, the city held stronger than most they sieged. It was led by a smart and stubborn governor and lasted 5 months before being betrayed by someone within its walls. Even after the city's walls fell, the surviving troops retreated to a large citadel where they lasted another whole month, inflicting a lot of Mongolian casualties. And basically, a citadel is like a fort built within a city.
Mm-hmm.
Just for anyone who doesn't know. Finally, they were killed, and Genghis Khan had had enough. Instead of assimilating the city and its inhabitants as he had most cities in the past, he had the entire population either executed or enslaved. Namely, artisans and craftsmen.
Bro.
And that was a sort of a theme in their conquest. Artisans and craftsmen were appreciated.
Yeah.
They liked having them. So more often than not, those guys would be kept alive,
Spared.
and, well, enslaved. they would yeah.
Some would argue
Probably
death's
worse.
better,
Yeah, honestly. But everybody else is dead. You're dead. If you're
Just imagine.
Yeah.
You're like a potter. And then you see the Mongol army coming.
Yeah.
I should have been a craftsman.
Well, I don't know if potters. If you were a really good potter, you might be enslaved.
Expert potter.
You had to be really good at it.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. But yeah, anybody else dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
After that, it was to the city of Bukhara, which they surprise attacked through a 300-mile wide desert thought to be impassable, but were led by captured nomads and were led from one oasis to another until they reached the city. This city was the polar opposite of Otrar and fell in 2 weeks. Once again, most of the population was killed, except for craftsmen who were enslaved. Any men who hadn't fought for the Khwarezmians were conscripted into the Mongolian army. During this time, the Mongolian army was spread out across 5 fronts, sweeping across the Man, such a long word.
Such a long word.
So many consonants and syllables. The Khwarezmian Empire month after month, only being slowed down by either heavily fortified cities or simply the vast lengths of land they had to cross. Part of the reason the Mongols were able to make such quick work of their enemy was due to the messiness of the newly formed empire. The Khwarezmians were made of several groups that had either been conquered or allied only a few years before. Communication and coordination was almost non-existent, and on top of that, their leader, known as the Shah, was constantly undermined by his own mother, who had her own loyal following. Some didn't really even know who was actually supposed to be in charge. Basically, Genghis Khan invaded at the perfect time, and he knew this and took it to his advantage. Not only were the Mongols great fighters, horsemen, and archers, they were also great at psychological warfare. Genghis started having captured enemy troops carry messages of disinformation to further spread confusion throughout the Khwarezmian Empire.
Propaganda. Dude. MIC, propaganda, he was ahead of the curve.
Dude,
He's ahead of his time.
This is like it's like the FBI.
The Federal Bureau.
The Bureau. Federal Bureau oven.
How can you say, I'm surprised you could say Khwarezmian.
I know. I am struggling. I am struggling so hard right now. I'm not gonna lie. I am having a hard time with this one.
Khwarez.
Yeah. I'll say it once. I'll say it correctly one time. And then just so people actually know what it is.
Sure.
And then every other time I'll just try to blow through it.
Yeah.
And that one.
Yeah.
The guys. The K guys.
The dudes.
But yeah, no, he definitely knew what he was about. He was very
dude.
good with that. I mean, remember, he was a good people person. More than being like a good military leader. Because honestly, he wasn't that good of a tactician.
Sure.
But he knew how to surround himself with people that were really good tacticians.
Yeah, just has the numbers and the resources.
He knew how to play the mind game, dude.
Yeah.
With his own people and with his enemy.
Yeah.
That's what made him such a good leader.
Yeah. To the enemy. To
Crazy.
break them down so they can attack them when they're weak.
Exactly.
Dude.
That's insane, dude.
Where's Bort?
She's around. She's
Borting around.
She doesn't really do anything other than just be the guy's wife, honestly, as most women back in that time.
Yeah.
That's kind of their job. They don't really get to do a whole lot.
Yeah. Dude.
Genghis, capture soldiers, deliver disinformation. He would issue fake decrees in either the Shah or the Shah's mother's name to have the enemy commanders make the wrong moves. So yeah, literally what you just said.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in March of 1220, Genghis Khan's army arrived to the doorstep of the Khwarezmian capital, Samarkand. During the 3-day siege, the Mongolians used captured enemy soldiers as human shields. On the 3rd day, the Mongolians drew the defenders out of the city with the classic fake retreat before killing a lot of them.
Uno reverse. We're leaving. Psych, you're dead.
Draw 4. On the 5th day, almost all the defenders surrendered except for a small handful that held in the citadel before they too were killed. The Shah fled with a small force to an island in the Caspian Sea where he died of pneumonia. The survivors in the city and the surrendered soldiers were marched to a field outside of the city where nearly all of them were massacred. Basically a medieval Holocaust.
He's just whacking everybody now. He doesn't care.
Yeah, this is the Genghis Khan we know.
Does not care.
After that, it was on to the wealthy city of Gurganj. This particular city, recently abandoned by the Shah's mother when she fled, was the hardest part of the entire Mongolian invasion. It was situated right on the Amu Darya River and surrounded by marshy area. The Mongols were able to make into the large city, but then were forced to adapt to urban warfare on the fly, something they knew almost nothing about, against a foe on their home turf. Of course, they won, and the Mongols completely destroyed the city by breaking dams built around the city to flood it, and marched the survivors out to a plain. Then, according to some transcripts, about 50,000 Mongol soldiers were given the task of executing 24 prisoners each, which, if those numbers are accurate, means they executed around 1.2 million people.
That's so scary to think about.
I know. It's insane. It's like medieval Asian Hitler. It's crazy. After this, Genghis sent his son Tolu, another son, we haven't heard about yet, to attack the last major Khwarezmian city of Khorasan. Dang.
Good try.
Thank you.
You made an effort.
Another little footnote at this point, and I kind of left this part out a little bit to try to keep this episode, try to not have me be required to press the little explicit button when I upload this episode.
Yeah.
But Genghis has a lot of quote-unquote wives at this time from all of his conquests, with a lot of sons.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sons that I don't even mention until they're brought up, like Tolu here.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Genghis Khan is doing Genghis Khan.
He's,
you know how
he conquers more than just armies.
Yeah. There's a reason a lot of people nowadays are related to him in one way or another.
Statistic.
Yeah. This is why. When he arrived, Tolu inspected the city and figured it could withstand a very hard, lengthy siege. Yet after a couple attacks, the population inside surrendered with promises from the Mongols that they'd be treated fairly. Of course, hundreds of thousands were killed immediately after.
Dude. So brutal.
Then Tolu appointed a Mongol governor and left. The Mongolian governor was killed and the city rebelled, so Tolu returned and killed nearly 2 million more citizens, including children, cats, and dogs, then piled the corpses outside the city in massive heaps and burned the city to the ground.
So bad, dude.
This is the Mongolian Empire we all know today.
Just murdering everybody.
It kind of started out kind of cool at first, and then it very quickly went to just killing everyone.
Very dark turn.
Finally, Genghis Khan returned from his successful conquest of the Khorasan in 1221, where he found the Jia kingdom planning to revolt against him. They were promptly wiped out in a little over 18 months. This second invasion was far more brutal than the first. Not only was Genghis trying to conquer Jia, he wanted to erase it and any evidence of it off the face of the earth.
Genocide.
Holocaust. Instead of assimilating conquered cities like he'd done in the past, he went on a mass genocide on the Jia dynasty. And I literally have in my notes, basically committed a medieval Holocaust.
Yeah.
Anyone posing any sort of threat was hunted down, and if they didn't die in battle, they were executed, usually in really over-the-top brutal ways.
Dude.
I.e. boiled alive over a poop fire. However, sadly, due to some reason, the exact means unknown, in August of 1227, Genghis Khan died. Some think it was disease or infection from a wound. Some think he died in battle against the Jia. One very interesting theory is that he was killed by a Jia princess taken captive who had a hidden dagger and stabbed the Khan when she got close enough to stab him. Either way, by the time he had died, Genghis Khan had unified the whole of Mongolia and expanded its borders across two separate empires in the west and south and across vast spaces of nomadic lands in the north. What were once separate kingdoms had been raided, sacked, and burned, and the people, survivors, assimilated into a new, very large Mongolia.
So he didn't live super long.
No.
And his reign was like pretty short.
Yeah, because I don't know. He died. Nobody really knows how he died. Like there's a lot of different sources. Most historians agree the most valid or credible source of information of this time is like this book written by this Mongolian called I don't know if he was actually Mongolian, but it's this The Secret History, I think is what it's called. And it's like a really old book written around this time of everything that like Genghis Khan did in the Mongolian Empire. And that book, I think, says he died one way, but then there's other sources that say he died another way. And then there's the theory of the Jia princess that stabbed him. So no one really knows.
Never really know. Yeah.
But anyway, he died.
Yeah.
That's the point. And then he was buried in an undisclosed location somewhere along the Onan River. And no one really knows where that is either. There's either where he was born, which no one knows where that was, or it was where he was announced to be Genghis Khan and like given official rule of all of Mongolia, or it could have just literally been some spot on the river that he liked. No one really knows. But yeah, that is the story of Genghis Khan and the start of the Mongolian Empire.
So brutal.
Extremely brutal.
So much death.
Which is kind of in par for medieval warfare, really all over the world, but for whatever reason, especially Asia.
It just has to be.
China, Mongolia, Japan, all of them were just so brutal to their enemies during this time.
Boiling people.
Over fires.
That one gets me. That one gets me, dude. I've never heard that.
Insane.
You got to be like so cynical and cynically creative to be like, you know what we should do?
Yeah, you had to really think about that one. But yeah, that one was fun.
That was fun. I would be intrigued to know how that was, like how his legacy was carried after and what happens.
Yeah, we could definitely do a part 2, go into his son's rules and what happened afterwards and kind of how the empire did eventually fall. Spoiler alert, it's not around anymore.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. Which, dude, I love how Mongolians love Genghis Khan despite everything that he did.
I bet, dude.
Like how other countries with their dictators, because that's essentially what Genghis Khan was a dictator. Yeah. But like other countries like Russia, they don't really talk about Stalin.
Yeah.
Germany, they hate Hitler.
Yeah.
Mongolia, they literally built a statue of Genghis Khan in the capital. Giant, bright, shiny silver statue of Genghis Khan. I think of his mom too, or his wife Bort. One of the two.
Bort.
Bort.
Yeah, I could see that. Why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's all they have to attach to. When they look back on history, it's like something that everyone knows about them, what they're popular for.
It's kind of all we know about them.
Yeah.
I think that's
the
all
most evil dictator
most
of the
world
history
knows about Mongolia. Yeah. That and the one episode that the Grand Tour did in Mongolia.
Okay.
That's about it.
I gotta watch the movie. I know there's a good movie on it they did like 15 years ago, I think. It's just called Mongol.
That's it? Yeah. Oh, no, I should watch that too. I like how you watch the movies about these things, but I never do.
I do, yeah. We talk about it and I go home and it's like on my mind.
Yeah. Because you watched that movie when we did the
Silk Road.
Yeah, Silk Road.
Yeah, that was good.
I still haven't seen it. That was forever ago.
It's on Prime, if you have Prime.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I have all the time in the world to watch it.
Yeah,
some
it's like
days,
it takes 2 hours to watch it. That's good.
That's 2 hours. No, I will watch it. I'll eventually watch it. Watch it. Right now, I got to watch Christmas movies, though, before it's too late.
I got to watch Home Alone.
Oh,
it's the tradition.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, that is a good tradition. We're trying to watch a bunch of Christmas movies we haven't seen before.
Yeah. I haven't seen A Christmas Story.
That's one where he gets a BB gun, right?
BB gun. You shoot your eye out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. I didn't see that one.
I like how we're talking about Christmas movies, even though this episode will come out after Christmas.
Yeah.
Podcast math.
Podcast maths. It's like doing calculus.
Yeah. Except it's even more confusing, and if you get it wrong, your episodes make no sense when they come out. Yeah, any other thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Mongol Empire. And it lasted, you said, till like 1900s?
Yeah, the last little bit of it lasted until around the 1930s.
Okay. So then it pretty much started with Khan then. Pretty much
much, yeah.
Like late 1100s.
Mm-hmm. Early 1200s. Let's see, he died in 1227.
Okay.
Yeah, so very early on.
Dude, that's a long reign. That's a lot of death.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you would like a part 2. We would definitely love to do a part 2. This was fun because it gets even crazier. There's a lot more that goes on.
It does, yeah.
And it'd be really, really cool to learn more about it. Because honestly, this is kind of like where my knowledge ends on it, other than like the very tail end.
Sure.
I'm really glad that guy with the spear didn't kill us.
Same.
Thank you.
We wouldn't be able to do this episode.
Thank you for figuring out that little machine, though.
DeLorean.
It gives a weird hum, doesn't it?
It does.
I don't know if the mics pick it up, but it kind of like makes you feel tingly when you get close to it.
It does, yeah.
I don't know what
you
that
gotta
is.
Hold your breath. It's weird.
It smells like ozone in here.
It does smell like ozone.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
That might be bad.
It smells like ozone.
It's not necessarily like a bad smell.
No. It's like a synthetic smell.
It's like spicy air.
Spicy air. Spicy air.
Okay, anyway. Thanks for listening. Go listen to some Mongolian throat singing. Treat yourself. Go listen to The Hue. They're a lot of fun. Alex, any more passing thoughts?
That's all my thoughts.
That's all your thoughts? That's all my thoughts too. Thanks for listening. We will catch you later. By now, you have already heard the announcements from our Christmas special. So it might be a little while until you hear another new episode. Shouldn't be more than a few weeks, maybe a month at most. But we promise it'll be worth it. We'll come back bigger and better than ever, baby. We're not going anywhere. Yeah. We're gonna take this thing. We're gonna ride this thing until the wheels fall off.
Let it ride.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Please join us next time. Please share this. Follow us on social medias, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok at World Canon, Instagram at world.canon.pod. Let me try that again. Instagram at world.canon.pod. Twitter, aka X, at world.canon.pod. We also now have an email. So if you would like to email the show, you can go to worldcanonofficial@outlook.com, and all of those links and usernames will be in the description below the episode. So go down there, copy and paste. Also Alex's music. There's a link for that. So yes, please listen to that.
Email now, dude. We're official.
We are official, dude.
Certified now?
I know. I already am getting spam emails from...
Already getting phishing emails.
Yeah. But podcast-related phishing emails.
Nice.
None of them are worth it. Okay. But, still, it exists. So please, email us there, and that can be anything. Just, you want to send us a little note. We'll read it on the show. If you have ideas for further episodes, or if you even have a whole story, maybe personal history, family history. I'm kind of ripping off another big history podcast there, but I like the idea. It sounds fun. Or just really any sort of history story in general, send it there. We'll read it on the show. We'll give you credit for it. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, that's kind of it for this one. Once again, I know I say this about 3 times at the end of every episode because I'm bad at ending these things. But thank you for listening. Please stick around. We will be back soon, and everything will be better.
We're
going to be working hard to make this better for you, the listeners, and for us too, kind of also.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
That's the wrong app.
The chips.
guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
There is no constitutional issue here. The command of the Constitution is plain.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Mr. Gorbachev,